So everything about Captain America is just filled with classic themes to me. Even his origin comes from this time of darkness and war where there was a lot of like uncertainty and fear in the world. He was a symbol of hope, and I feel like if I was to try and make a character build in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition that would like fill that fantasy for a player to fill out, I think it's going to be fairly simple, but I think there are subtleties to that simpleness that you're going to want to check out. Hello there, everyone. I'm Jake from JNJtabletop, and like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about Captain America and how you can play out that fantasy in a Dungeons and Dragons game. Now, the goal of this series really isn't going to be like, let's make a carbon copy of like exactly how you build Captain America, although, bonus points if you can, but it's really going to be about what are the core elements of that fantasy and how can I help you play that out in your game. So Captain America has some kind of simple origins, right? I think if you're looking at him in terms of the Marvel universe and trying to translate that into the D&D world, I think you're probably playing a human. I think you're going to have the soldier background, and you're probably going to come from like nondescript or humble beginnings, right? Maybe there's not exactly a super soldier serum in this D&D game, but maybe talk to your DM about that. That actually sounds like a pretty cool adventure to go on now that I'm thinking about it. But however you want to go about that, I think it's very important that he seems to come from sort of nothing. A very unexpected hero who all of a sudden is thrust into something that now, something that they do, maybe there's like a folk hero background going on too. I could see there's some crossover between soldier and folk hero, and maybe it somehow gets him special attention and training and resources that now lets them develop physically the way their heart already was. Because that is the very core of the Captain America experience. His heart, who he is, Steve Rogers, always was a superhero as far as terms of like character and integrity and selflessness and those kinds of qualities. It just took a minute for his body to catch up to that. And really, even though he was capable of all these extraordinary things, especially for a human, his most powerful asset is always his heart. Which I think brings us to the subject of alignment beautifully. And there's a lot of drama around alignment. A lot of games will just kind of throw that away as if it's not important. And I really think Josh and I are going to do a video on alignment because it's actually something I find to be a very powerful role-playing tool, and it's really a resource more than it is like a cage that you have to live in. But when I think of Captain America, I think he's either lawful good or neutral good. I think my perception of him immediately is lawful good, but I think if you look at some movie choices that he's made, specifically like say in Civil War, I think you see him lean a little bit more towards neutral good. And I have some thoughts on alignment that I think are going to be a little different maybe than the way you've heard of it before. To sum that up very quickly, I usually look at alignment as you have these two pieces of what you're looking at, and what do you do if they're ever seemingly conflicted. So like if he naturally is leaning lawful good and he's forced with something that's like, is law and order going to conflict with being good? I think he's choosing good, which is why I tend to maybe make a case for neutral good. I have always actually said I think neutral good is the most like pure good alignment, and I think it's kind of something that most people don't immediately think of that way. But enough about personality and origin story. Let's talk about some mechanics, right? So we have human, we have soldier, maybe folk hero, maybe you do some kind of a blended background there. But as far as your class, what class is going to fill that the most? I think from an RP perspective, a lot of people would be tempted to say like, "Oh, Oath of Devotion Paladin." And I just say no, that would take away from what I think the Captain America fantasy is. And to me, I think without a doubt, Captain America is a fighter, probably specifically a battle master fighter. Captain America, he's part of the Avengers, he's the leader of the Avengers, and yet he kind of finds himself in a position where he is on the battlefield with people that are like the god of thunder or have these like amazing suits of mechanical iron that can do all these feats like fly and super strength and shooting these laser beams. So he's in this world existing with, say, magic. And some of these like superhuman abilities that it seems like the fighter doesn't have access to, but yet there's something about a person that doesn't care about those things and still will meet a threat head on, whether or not they have some kind of magical means to confront it. And I think the fighter fits that beautifully. Besides the fact that even though the movies kind of show him as superhuman, really he's just kind of at the peak and maybe just pushes human limits a little bit farther than they're supposed to. He's not really supposed to be, say, stronger than someone like Spider-Man or even Iron Man, but yet the movies kind of show that, and I think I understand why it's like cinematic. However, I think that fighter fantasy does that, and I specifically choose Battle Master because he has things like leadership qualities that are kind of intangible in a way. I think it also would help lean into the tactical play that I think a soldier is who that is trained to fight in the way that Steve Rogers is. I feel like that really would kind of scratch that itch, and I think that's kind of an important part if you're gonna lean into that fantasy. In terms of, say, like what kind of equipment should he use, I kind of feel like he's a classic knight in shining armor, so I would just get to plate armor as fast as I can. And as far as like the feel, he kind of feels like a sword and board guy. I mean, obviously he's gonna have the shield. I mean, shoot, that's why I wore this shirt, because it's so iconic. And I think you could lean into that. And I think if you were going to maybe like work on some kind of homebrew situation with your DM to try and have maybe just the shield as some kind of like fighting style work for you, sure, I might actually try and homebrew something based off of the Dwarven Thrower, because he seems to do a lot of cool stuff by throwing his shield and it comes back to him. However, I think the sword and board, that sword and shield classic hero just kind of feels right to me, at least. I mean, maybe you disagree with that. If you do, I'd love to hear what loadout you would consider for him, as I think sword and shield kind of does the job for me. And then in terms of, say, like feats that you might choose, I think obviously Shield Master. I think things like durable, tough, anything that's going to lean into that like tanky, resilient play style is going to really help you fill that out and feel like your character is special in a way that makes Captain America special. If you have a high charisma score, even perhaps you wouldn't think to put inspiring leader on a fighter, but I could see that working if you had enough charisma there to make that feel like that matters. But what do you think makes Captain America special? I think there's definitely more than one way to go about doing that, but I think if you were to build a character much in the way that I laid out in this video, I really feel like that would give you a very Captain America-like experience as a player at the table with your friends. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And of course, I would love it if you'd subscribe to this channel. 2021 was a really tough year for a lot of people, but J&J Tabletop really did grow, and I'm excited to see the community that we're building. We also have a Discord server with a link in our link tree in the description below. Make sure you check out all those things. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.